Welcome to another edition of Community Conversation. I'm Michael Witch for LMC Media, and on screen with me today is Patricia Bradshaw, an artist who has an exhibition at Mamaroneck Library until the end of the month. So welcome, Patricia.
Thank you for having me.
You are a mixed media artist, I think it's fair to say. I was at the library looking at your exhibit. In fact, you and I met there by accident. So it was lovely to meet you and to see some of the work that you've done. It's quite unusual. The library calls it surrealistic art. Would you agree with that description?
Yes, that is the type of style of work I do. I draw and I work with portraits usually, and I rip them up or reuse them in some form into collages. And I work with different types of printed material that I've collected over the years by visiting tons of other artists' receptions for about 4 decades.
Yeah. The exhibit is called Imagination. Can you tell us why?
A couple years ago, I visited a show, a local show, it was a student show, and they were talking about imagination. And they had some writers from all over the world that were focusing on that topic. And I was so interested in how the work was connected with how the brain works and how we think. And I just thought, wow, my next show, that would be a great title to discuss or introduce myself to how I like to work.
Yeah, when I saw the exhibit, I couldn't just look at something quickly and get it, sort of come away with it. I had to really study it to get an impression of what I thought you were trying to communicate.
Yeah.
It's rich in that regard. I know that half of the show is downstairs in the gallery.
Yes.
It's displayed on the walls. And then another part of the show is upstairs on the main floor, and it's in a glass case.
Yes. On the main level, that's the glass case, and that's where I have my drawings. And I have some other collages that I've done on found items, such as books and household items, and a collection of my books, and that's in the case. I also have a piece that I use on the flyer of Billie Holiday, titled Billie Holiday Stands Alone. So that's featured upstairs on the main level. And then downstairs is the Warner Family Gallery, and that's a hall. And there I have my painting.
Billie Holiday is a favorite subject or one that you just were taken with?
I started studying her after I graduated college. I was looking for somebody to identify with, and I found her life and career and accomplishments almost overwhelming. So I started in small parts studying her music, reading about her life, and a friend of mine who collects albums gave me about 5 or 6 of her albums, and I was just blown away by her beauty. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start to draw her. And that's how I started with the Billie Holiday. The collection downstairs is different phases of her career. So there are 5 large poster pieces, and they're supposed to sort of introduce the different phases of her career.
Sure. And they're presented in different media. Some are just drawings and some are collages.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
The main piece in that area is the Many Faces of Billie Holiday. And then I have some other pieces in charcoal.
Yes. Upstairs, you also have some art that you presented on tea bags.
Yes. I challenge myself sometimes.
Yes, that's certainly challenging.
I guess paper gets boring. So I use the tea bags, and then I take the leaves out, I let the bags dry, and I draw on the leaves.
Wow. That is interesting. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Do you, where do you draw your inspiration from?
All over. Like I said, for years, I visited other artists' receptions, basically in Manhattan, in the Chelsea area, Midtown, Soho, the Village, Queens. I've been to Florida, Maryland. So that's a big part of my my life. I meet other artists, I interview them, I collect material by them, I read, and that's how I get inspiration. Reading also. I'm a very visual person, so I could go down to the city, gallery hop, and I come back very fulfilled. And then the drawing is my outlet.
Hmm. This particular show that has some features like Billie Holiday, is there a message that you want to deliver to the people who take a look at the show?
You had referred to something earlier, which is what I really, I guess, am working on. Each piece is sort of telling a story.
Hmm.
I start with a particular print that I like, or an image that I've created myself, an original. And then from that, everything else gets drawn around it. And I add sheet music. I love sheet music. So I go to bookstores, I go to shops, sales. I collect these books. I incorporate that into the works. Sometimes it's a book that I'm totally, taken by.
Yeah.
So I'll use the pages from that. It could be a note card that I found. It could be a postcard, a handwritten letter.
Yeah.
I collect all these things, and that all gets put into the work.
I noticed that the library has a list of all of the pictures, the artwork on exhibit. They're all available for sale?
Yes, they are. Some of them are originals,
Yeah.
and some of them are giclées, which are prints. They're available in prints.
And you also have your work on a website, so you should mention that website for people who want to see your work, more of your work besides what's in the current show.
Thank you. My website is pbcollection.wixsite.com/gallery.
Okay.
And there you'll see, there's really an introduction of my work. I work in groups. So you'll see the drawings and I have groups of drawings. You'll see the paintings, I have groups of paintings. You'll see the poetry, I have a collection of poetry. So each piece on that site is sort of that. And then you'll see some of my past shows, some images from some of my past shows. And I also teach drawing classes. So you'll also see updates on that.
And I'd just like to tease the viewers that you should take a look at Patricia's poetry, especially as it's typed. Little story, but we won't go into that right now. They have to guess what that's about.
It is typed on my broken typewriter.
Well, it has an interesting presentation, I must say.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Patricia Bradshaw, artist and exhibitor currently at the Mamaroneck Library until the end of the month. Thank you for spending some time with us on Community Conversation.